Kristin and welcome to part 2 of brushes on repeat. I didn't intend for this to be a part 2, but I talked so much on my face brushes, which I will link below or stick in a card or something for you guys, that I decided to split it up. Like mid-video, I decided I was going to split it up and do my brushes, eye brushes separately, because I wanted to be able to, you know, give you the information I want to give you without being rushed. So, having said all of that, again, if you haven't seen the face one, I will list that below. And let's get into eyes. All right, first let's talk about lay down brushes. And I have 3 favorites here. These both are the same thing, so I'm not sure what I was saying. I actually have 3 of these brushes in my collection because I use them so often. And these are the MAC 239s. Here, let me grab you a clean one, shall I? So this is the MAC 239, and I just have found no other brush that picks up and lays down product as well as this. I do have a close second, but this is still my favorite. The close second is also in this video, so I will show you that. But I just love the MAC 239. I think it's a must-have. I use it on myself. I use it on other people. It's a must-have. Close second is the Sony Akashic number 106. I do think they still make this. I remember having a hard time finding it the last time. To show you in comparison, it's very similar to the MAC. It's just a little bit narrower, a little bit taller, but works very similarly. So I actually prefer to use this one kind of on my inner third, and then I would switch to this for my outer third. Not always. Sometimes I'll just flip the brush, but just sharing what I use them for. And then for an all-over wash of color, something really quick, I love this brush. This actually was a gift to me from my friend Natalia, and this is the number 11 brush from Tom Ford. So it's much larger. I'm going to give you this one to show you by comparison. Much larger. It just works so well to lay a wash of color all over your lid, blend up the crease. This is a great brush to use for a one shadow look. I really, really like that. Love that brush. Thank you again, Natalia. All right, let's talk about some crease brushes. So I have lots of, there are different shapes I like for different things. So I have lots of brushes that look, you know, like this, that are that kind of big crease, fluffy sort of brush. By far, my favorite is the Beauty Junkie Pro Tapered Blending Brush. And I think it's something about the way it's cut. So this one, I think this is the Sigma one that has just kind of all splayed out. I use this one for when I just want to throw like Maybelline linen all over my lid. That's kind of what I use this one for. The MAC one is just cut differently. Do you see how that's, this one is more flat, this one is more rounded. I love how this one works a little bit better. So what I use this for is a couple of things. One, I will lay down my transition shade with this, or when I'm all done and I just want a little extra blending, I will use this for that. But I cannot be without this brush. I love this brush. This travels with me. I use it every single day. And then another one that I want to talk about is all of the Goss crease brushes work similar to me, I think. They each have their own purpose, but they all are very similar. My favorite of them, though, is the number 19, which looks like this. And again, just good for laying a color in the crease, sort of blowing it out. Of all of the Goss brushes that look similar to that, that one is my favorite. I want to step back just a minute. I should have probably started with these. I don't know, but so to lay down my MAC Painterly Paint Pot. Over the years, I used to just use it with my finger, but now I much prefer to use a brush. And I really like this sort of angled synthetic brush. This one is the mini angled brush, and this is a Beauty Junkie brush. And I just absolutely love how that angle works with my eye. I can get it right up under my brow bone. It blends things out. And I just think if you've always put on like Painterly or something like that with your finger, just try with a brush. I just feel like it blends it a little bit more and gets it a little more even, and I don't know. I think that is important. And then this one I should have mentioned with eyes, and I apologize for that. This is, or on my face, I mean, I should have mentioned it with my face, but since it goes under my eyes, we'll leave it in here. And this is the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush. I use this brush as you can tell, every single day to blend out my concealer. On occasion, if I've put a little too much concealer down there, then I might need to break out, you know, my beauty sponge or whatever. But for the most part, I blend out my concealer every single day with this brush, and I really like it. I've spoken about that in several favorites videos. I just think it's a really, really great brush. All right, back to the crease brushes. So I'm gonna pull these out to show you how many. This is how many I currently have. I don't know how many of these that I have, but this is your MAC 217 style brush. So this one is from Sigma. It was a free gift at some point. I think one of these is from Sigma. You know, my favorite, I used to think that the Sigma ones were very similar, and they used to be. They have changed now. When I ordered some new ones, they weren't exactly the same. So my preference in going forward, the ones I would purchase would be from MAC. And again, it's the 217. And I just feel like this brush is irreplaceable. If you are trying to sit down, say you want to purchase some MAC brushes, and you want to figure out the top 3 brushes you would get from MAC. In my opinion, the MAC 239, the MAC 217, and the MAC 224. Although I would get the Beauty Junkie Tapered Blending over the MAC 224 at this point. But those 3 brushes I feel like are indispensable. So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but so I use this brush for laying down. I'm going to look in my mirror so I don't poke myself in the eye. If I want to, kind of my stamp method I've talked about before, lay down here, turn, lay down here, and then blend it out. You can use this brush for for a one shadow look as well. You can even pinch this a little bit, run shadow beneath your lower lash line. I love this brush. You can use this brush if you want. I don't suggest it, but I have seen makeup artists use this brush for putting down like a paint pot. I prefer to use the synthetic brush for something creamy like that, but absolutely, I don't want to say a necessity, but kind of a necessity. All right, another brush that I have found that's similar to this 217, but has a little more fluff to it. And if I want a little less preciseness, if I want to be a little less precise in placing and blending than with a 217, then I will use this one. And I use this a lot I use this one also to, if I already have color placed, sometimes I'll place it with a 217 and then really blend it out. And that is with this from Sephora, and this, sorry, I should have looked, is the number 27, the Pro Blending. It's getting rubbed off of there, but so it's very similar to a 217 as far as size and shape, but it's fluffier, and you can see this way there's more fluff to it. And that just aids in blending, but it still gives you kind of that more precise tip than what you would have with, say, the Pro Tapered Blending or the 224. By the way, you don't need all of these brushes. You absolutely don't need all of these brushes. These are just the ones that I have and use on a regular basis. All right, a couple of crease brushes that are newer within the last, year or so to my collection. Not even 6 months, maybe. No, longer than that, but the Zoeva 228 crease, and then the Tom Ford number 13. These work similarly to me, and so they're more of a rounded, they're cut round, they're not pinched, and again, it works well to blend things out in the crease. All of the different shape of crease brushes sometimes come down to your personal preference. It comes down to what eye look you're wanting to do. I feel like I'm talking so fast in both these videos because I'm so excited. I just love brushes. I'm so excited about these. Bring it down a notch, game. But I don't know. I think that these work really well. Zoeva's not as easy to get. I think you can get it, but you just have to pay a lot of shipping as Tom Ford. And I honestly don't know the pricing between the two of these. My friend Ute sent me this one from Zoeva, and I will be forever grateful because I absolutely love it. And I actually will probably place a Zoeva order here at some point. But anyway, those are also great brushes. So beneath the lower lash line to, smoke things out, or even you can get this to place it, even closer to the lash line. I'm looking in the viewfinder so I don't poke myself in the eye. And that's the Wayne Goss 05. I really like this pencil brush. It is my favorite of all of the pencil brushes that I have. There's just something about it that not only places the color, it picks up a good amount of color. Sometimes pencil brushes that I have don't pick up enough color. And then you have to keep adding on, and then you can have more chance of fallout and that sort of thing. So I really like this brush. I have 2 from Sigma here that I feel like are unique to their line. And one is the E21. I've talked this to death. This is just a smudgy brush, and I use this every single day that I use eyeliner. When I put eyeliner down, the older you get, the harder it is to get a nice smooth line. I want things to look smooth, so I lay it down and then I smudge over it with this brush every single day. So that's the Sigma E21. And then the Sigma E36. I have one that's similar to it, but not exactly like it. So this one, Emily and I call White Wispy. It's just super wispy, and you would think it's not going to do anything, but if you're wanting to add a little color like right up here, it works amazingly for that. You're gonna look at this if you order this, or if you have it, whatever. Maybe you looked at it and you're like, that's not gonna work. It works. It blends really well for something so teeny tiny. A close dupe for this, or not, it's more expensive probably, but something that you could walk into the store and buy versus having to order online. The MAC 221 is very similar, works similarly, and I like it just as well. Lastly is some Real Techniques brushes that I really enjoy. I think it's these three and then one other one, a brow brush that's like ginormous. It's like the hugest angled brush of life. So I don't use that at all, but they come in a collection. I don't remember what it's called. But, so these are all synthetic, and there's a tinier one. There's a one that has some like denseness to it, and then this one's a little fluffier. And this one is the domed shadow brush, is one that I use for when I'm going to lay down like Bad to the Bronze or some other color tattoo or paint pot other than Painterly. This works perfectly for that. This one does as well, but my preference is the domed shadow brush. But this one will actually help kind of, you know, blend it up a little because it's a little thinner. And then this one is just a really nice, if you're wanting to do, you know, a lighter paint pot on your inner corner and then maybe a dark one on the outer corner or something like that, this is just really nice to get precise. And this is called the Shadow Brush. And I think it's intended to be like a lay-down brush. I don't like it for that. I don't feel like it picks up product well for that, but with a cream product, yes ma'am. And that, my friends, is everything. I will say quickly, I mentioned it in my other video, any of the Beauty Junkie brushes I talked about, I do have a code that does something for you. It does nothing for me. It gives you 25% off if you haven't used my code before. I'll list all that information below for you, but I think it's one Kristin. You get 25% off either a brush or a kit of brushes. And yeah, I think that's it. So very quickly, in case you didn't watch and weren't interested in seeing the face ones, on my face today, I have the Too Faced Natural at Night palette. For the most part, it is just this row of greens right here. And on my cheeks, I have the Marc Jacobs Blush in Lush and Libido, which looks like this. And on my lips, I have the Tarte Lip Paint in FOMO. And that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this and found this helpful. And in everything that you do, be beautiful. Bye.